This gas station's $3.35. On 192, there's one that's $3.10. What's it cost near you? But even more importantly, Dunkin' Donuts. That's where we're headed. Let's get this thing fired up. Uh-oh, Mercedes with an air suspension is in-op. Usually means an airbag's leaking and the compressor burnt up. Uh-oh, let's get this place open up. How you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to spend a day in the shop. That's what we do most days when you're watching my videos. It's usually going to be a day in the shop, making it work. Get this place open up a little bit. Play with the project truck maybe. You know what we'll do? We'll put in some clips right here of what you can expect in today's video. Chevrolet Cruze 2018 Mitsubishi Outlander. Gonna do a wheel alignment. Well, it's kind of warm and muggy out this morning, but I hope that you got to see a lot of clips today that we were busy. But it doesn't have a busy kind of vibe to it. We got that Mercedes with the collapsed air suspension out in the parking lot. A couple of cars that were supposed to be towed out of here over the weekend are still here. I tried to drive my project truck to Old Town, but something happened with the AC. I have to go over my connections and everything. I ended up turning around and bringing it back home. Let me tell you, it's a little muggy this morning. It's about 77 degrees, but it's really humid. Hopefully that'll get a little better. It's supposed to rain a bunch today. We'll see if that comes true. Hope you guys had a great Labor Day weekend. I know this is a week late. I need to get better about the dates and remembering when the videos are going to come out versus what's going on. It's always a work in progress over here. I'm more of a mechanic than a professional YouTube creator, but I'm trying. I mean, what we're going to do is we're going to finish getting the shop open up. We're going to get in there and learn a thing or two, and we're going to have some fun. Stay tuned. 2018 Chevrolet Cruze starting off the week. These are cute little cars, actually, if you got a little family and stuff, a little wagon, little hatchback deal. It's almost like an SUV, just smaller and better on gas. I actually kind of like them. They're pretty easy to work on, relatively speaking, for modern cars. But it's got 120,815 miles. My goodness. They like to drive, you know. What are you going to do? Apparently they go to the beach a lot or something. I don't know. He said that his friend put a scanner on it and they had a code, P1101. So I'm going to put a scanner on it and see if it still has a code. There's no lights on, and he acknowledged that the light hasn't been on for a day or two. Should still be in memory if they didn't clear it out. Worst case scenario, we'll look up P1101, see what it might be. These are bad for cracking turbochargers and stuff like that. I'm assuming this is a turbo 1.4. I didn't look. We'll do a health report, ping all the modules, see what kind of codes we have, figure out exactly what powertrain's in this thing, and we'll go from there. All right, we got one P1101 intake airflow system performance, and then we got a bunch of BCM codes, tire pressure low voltage codes, so sensors are going bad, tire pressure monitoring system sensors code, that's a CO775, instrument cluster code, lost comm with device on LIN bus. No other modules have codes, so that's pretty good. Let's climb in here and see intake airflow system performance. Let's head into that ECM. It's an automatic transmission. It's not equipped. Read fault code. DTC display. Now I can go online right here too. Intake airflow, passed and failed. History, passed. Search. Causes and fixes. Mass airflow sensor out of self-test range. That's usually something along the lines of a bellows left off. Let's go take a look under the hood real quick before we get too crazy searching for potential causes. Could be something as simple as a clamp left off or something like that. It is turbocharged. It got a little tiny turbos on them, and it looks like it might have been changed. So that code could be something as simple as someone started it up without the boot bellows on, the blip, 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 blip. Someone started without the bellows on and didn't clear the code. Possible. The light's not on, so it's not seeing a problem right now, and it says last trip passed. Very strange. Could also mean intermittently something happens with the mass airflow. So what I'll do is send a report, clear the code, jiggle some connectors and wiring around here, maybe check these for rips and tears. You can spray a little soapy water around and see if it changes fuel trims and things like that. Or brake clean, which is more flammable. You got to be careful if you can use brake clean don't go near the exhaust with it. But the intake's in the back. You can spray around. Soapy water is what is recommended. Even just plain water out of a spray bottle. All right. Codes are cleared. Report's been sent. Not necessarily in that order. I'm going to bring up some mass airflow data and other data that might give us a good indication of what's going on. This code is on the inlet side of the turbo, so between the airbox and the turbo. It's not a boost code. That would be on the other side, the outlet of the turbo to the intake manifold or intercooler. So if you have a boost code, then you would be checking hoses at the intercooler, maybe a sensor or something like that on the boost side. But intake side, 1101, that's low pressure. I still want to bring up desired and actual boost pressure. And then I'm going to bring up mass airflow, and we're going to take a look at some of that data. Intake manifold pressure, mass airflow sensor. Like I mentioned before, 4 data PIDs are the best for graphing mode. You can combine them all into one large screen, helps a little bit. Desired boost pressure 0.15. That's interesting. These don't agree. Which is odd that it would set an intake side code, but that's all right. Maybe it's because it's important. Let's do this. I might have to take it for a drive, but I'm going to try it in the shop first. I can hear the turbo spool, and I don't see an increase in boost pressure. There's a little something. Let's go like into data. I want to change to make sure that this is different. Mass airflow, pounds an hour. Ooh, that's not going to give me the option for grams. That's interesting. The mass airflow is definitely responding. You can see it here if I combine all these. You'll see that the gold line pops right up with increased airflow. That's what I want to see. But the desired and actual boost pressure don't agree. Let's take a closer look at the boost side of the system. It's kind of strange that it wouldn't set a boost related code, but wouldn't be the first time something erroneous code leads you astray and you have to disregard it and figure out what it really wants. But if it says desired 6.4, that's what it wants to see over here. A lot of leaves in there, but I don't see any damage to the intercooler. The hoses are all attached. I wonder if I might be barking up the wrong tree with that data PID. We're gonna have to look at some more. There's like 4 or 5 boost pressure data PIDs. I'm also gonna check for vacuum leak and focus more on the intake side, which that's where that code belongs. So let's focus on that, let it back down. These things are bad for valve covers, PCVs, all that stuff. So we'll focus on that a little bit more. One thing I do know on these, get my foot around my dongle. That didn't sound right. There's a certain percentage that you should see the throttle opening to control idle. That's what we're going to look at now. Let's go back here just in case the data is going to be corrupted from it shutting off and stuff. I'm going to go into engine intake or fuel system data, that kind of thing. Not the pressure, but induction data. And what I don't like about some of these manufacturers, you know, GM's not excluded from that, is they'll have 4 or 5 data PIDs that sound like the same thing, like the boost pressure data PID I showed you. They'll have 4 or 5 of them, and one might mean boost pressure on D-sub, boost pressure on axle. You know, this is just all kinds of, but they don't tell you that in the data PID line. There's just not enough room, I guess. Boost pressure sensor, boost pressure sensor. Desired idle speed. There's 2 mass airflow data PIDs, and there's a mass airflow performance test. Then there's mass airflow sensor supply voltage, control circuit high and low, sensor supply voltage open, throttle position. Should be 8% or higher if the throttle's working correctly and there's no vacuum leaks. This is at 22%. So that means the throttle body's actually probably a little bit dirty. So it opens it more than the 8 to 12% you would normally see. Let's graph that. Combine. My throttle position is in purple. That looks normal right now. Let's go back in here and check for codes one more time. Read fault codes. Not saying any codes. Now we're back to where maybe someone had a hose off, a duct off, and they worked on. He did say his friend pulled codes because his check engine light was on, and he had the P1101. Most of the time, that code is a mass airflow sensor or a duct hose left off or something like that. If the mass airflow was left unplugged, there'd be ambient air temp sensor codes, intake air temp sensor codes, or something to that effect. All kinds of other map-related codes for circuits and stuff. So we don't have any of that. So it's something mechanically left off, most likely, and it wasn't cleared. So I've cleared it. I'm gonna go drive this thing, and we'll come back and see if there's any reason to go much further. It did say that it was passed in history, so that's a good indicator that someone caused the problem, fixed the problem, didn't clear the code. Ooh, look at that traffic. So you can pull out here, but the people in the left lane like to get into the right lane. See? That white car gets in the right lane, so I can't get out. Because he's desperate to pass the guy that's only going the speed limit. I'm going to look at the scan data briefly, or have you guys look at it while I drive. That way nobody gets hurt, and we'll see what's going on. Oh, there's a little weird little hesitation, transmission hesitation. Getting boost now, huh? With it in gear, it's a whole different story than in the shop sometimes and driving. That's D-cell, Accel, 21 PSI, so we're getting boost. All right, time to head back to the shop. This thing's working correctly. Someone pulled codes after leaving a duct off or something like that. That was easy. Tried to make it complicated, but it didn't work. That's one of the things that makes our job hard. Why the engineers do that, I don't know, but the desired boost, it said 6 or 7 PSI, you guys saw in the shop, but then it wouldn't let it have any boost because the car wasn't moving. So the desired boost at that time should have been 0, right? Maybe those data PIDs, maybe I'm interpreting them incorrectly. Maybe the desired boost was half of atmosphere or something because the engine's under a little bit of vacuum. But then the boost pressure sensor shows no boost because it doesn't let you have boost. In any event, it doesn't need to be that complicated. If it's not letting you have boost, it should say desired boost 0. But that's not how things work in this industry. Let's see if there's something else to do when we get back to the shop. I already cleared his codes. Whoa, 2018 Mitsubishi Outlander. They keep putting batteries in it, and they still keep going dead. They want to know why. And check engine lights on, and we got a complimentary inspection on it. So we're gonna take a look. Let's see if we can see. Let's just say it's got a weird smell, like body odor and cookies mixed together. Let's get serious here. Try to see if we can make a living and help somebody out. Service engine soon. 102,990 miles. About double life expectancy of your average Mitsubishi. Did I mention how I'm not happy it doesn't have a kickstand? I should get my little kickstand I have on my tool cart, huh? Then I could just put it on the seat. Stop grabbing my pocket screwdriver, will you? 2016, it says 2018 on the paperwork, I thought. I don't feel quite as bad because I was going to give it a 2 for being a 2018. Now I'll bump it up to a 3 on the lever rating. What transmission does it have? I don't know. That one. What does this mean? XTMHL number? XTXHL number? I don't know. Let's pick the first one. Health report. One fault code in the ECU, or the MPI GDI diesel. I don't know what's wrong with the engine control module or powertrain control module, but they got their own, the chrome didn't stay on that Mitsubishi emblem very well, did it? I'm not a Mitsubishi fan, some of you might know that already. 420 catalyst deterioration. So that's not her problem. Voltage extraordinarily low in the airbag. That is interesting. Right now it's at 13. I'm gonna bring up some data stream, see if it's trying to charge, and we'll see what that looks like. Battery current might be under C for charge. Nope. Electric power steering. That's terrible. They don't give you a charging data PID. I was kind of hoping to see battery current calibration completed. Okay, so that's, we're going to unselect it. You know what we can do? We can get out there, do it the old-fashioned way. This shows 1307. That's usually within about a half a volt or so what's actually going on out there. But what we'll do is we'll actually go out there. There's one thing Mitsubishi could do, it's make it easy to get the hood open. Maybe you pull the hood latch twice. That's 5 minutes of my life I'll never get back because someone doesn't give a crap what they're doing. It's Mitsubishi stuff, you understand. I don't know what, all the push pins are missing. Since it's a Mitsubishi, the hood's probably been opened 100 times by now, who knows. The more often you have to open your hood, the more often stuff has to be repaired. Does that make sense? Or maybe it's the other way around. Anyway, let's get the test equipment out now. See what the charging system's doing. Well, that's not good. AC ripple. Barely any, almost zero. That doesn't mean the alternator is good, just means the diodes are good. Well, I want to put my Klein meter on this too, charging low. Print. I'm going to put my Klein meter. Someone said that they don't read AC current. If it reads AC voltage, then it should read AC ripple, right? That's what I meant, AC ripple. Let's hook this thing up and see if it reads AC ripple. That should be it right there. 0.05. So it's reading it. Anyway, the battery's new. He said he put a couple batteries in it. One battery and then one battery into warranty, and it still dies. So what's happening is the alternator's weak. It can't keep up when you put a lot of AC and wipers and headlights. Then it can't keep up and the voltage keeps reducing until the battery is so weak it won't start. I wish there was a data PID for the alternator. I'm going to look for it again just to see if I can find a data PID for how much it's asking the alternator to charge. If it's at 90 or 100%, then we know that alternator's no good. We don't have any circuit codes or anything like that, so there's no point pulling out scopes and all kinds of lab testing equipment. What we can do is test for voltage drop. While it's running and everything's under a load, put it on DC. Touch down here to the leg that goes down to the alternator. Touch down here on the terminal. Now I got a good connection. Yeah, needs an alternator. So let's let them know up front, and we'll see what happens with this monstrosity. Mitsubishi monstrosity. Outlander. Mitsubishi monstrosity Outlander. Alright, since we got an inspection, we're going to take a look at the tires and brakes, and all of those look good. Someone's done them. Probably Firestone. It's got Firestone tires on it. The wipers actually look pretty good. The rear wipers borderline. We always look at filters and stuff. Someone's put an air filter in it, and the air box has not been attached correctly. So the air box is not sealed. I'll show you. You see that? The air filter's broken. So there's a clip missing. So this thing's probably getting mostly unfiltered air. That's a shame. So now I'm compelled to try to fix that. We'll make sure they know about it. Of course, the battery's dead in my little tablet. If I If I don't completely turn it off, it goes dead after a couple days. So I gotta like turn it off and every night. Kind of a strange thing. I don't know why it does it, but I gotta check the fluids, look at the oil. Service maintenance, 102,000 miles. If it hasn't been tuned up, it's due for that. I guess I could pull a spark plug out and have a look. I'll see if they want to do that. But the lights all work, everything else is good. I'm gonna look at the oil change sticker, see if it's ready for one of those. We already know it needs an alternator. All right, customer approved the alternator, and I'm gonna look at the airbox for him, see if we can figure this all out. Try not to get any parts. It's going to be a no parts required airbox repair. Pine Hollow style. The only bad thing is it looks like there's some clips missing. But we'll see what we can do to sort all that out. Okay, this just pokes in the bottom. This I saw was broken, but this wasn't poked in the bottom. That's easy to fix. Someone sold him an air filter. Couldn't be bothered to get it back together correctly, but we will. 10mm. See if we can pull this out and reassemble everything in our little mitts. Wonder where that goes. Ah, I see. Goes on the bottom of the air filter box. Man, this thing's gonna be nice when we're done. And it's gonna be breathing filtered air. If you're anxious to sell somebody a $20 air filter, you should be just as anxious to put their air box back together if you can. Oh, wait a second. Don't start bragging yet. Aha! The bottom of the air box is where it's broken. See, you start bragging, it gets more complicated. Son of a gun. What are the odds that we can find the broken pieces laying on the transmission and fix this airbox? Look how flimsy this is a problem. I mean, why would you do something like that? You know this airbox is going to be opened up every time she goes for an oil change. Someone's going to want to sell her a $20 air filter and a little Mitsubishi airbox. Look how flimsy it is. Look at this one, even flimsier. I don't even know if there's enough material to glue that back together, or I'm going to try to use my plastic welder. What do you think about that? See if we can get this thing to hold up for a little while longer. This is like 200 bucks. It's also not available. This top's available, but the bottom's what breaks. That's why they're probably on back order. Plastic welding. This is SunPow. I got it on Amazon. I'm not sure if they even sell it anymore. I think they do. Comes with different shaped staples. All different shapes. You pick one that you think is going to fit your task pretty well. You slide them into here. It heats up the staple. And then you let it cool. But when the plastic cools enough, you can pull the tool off the staple and then snip the ends flush. This is what they look like. If you're new here and you haven't seen this, I've used it a couple times, but this is made to go on an angle this way or this way, whatever you need to do. As long as it fits in the tool and you're able to melt it into the plastic. We'll see which one fits best and we'll go from there. Comes with snips and everything. Although I've got my own, I'll use the ones that come with it. Might as well wear those out. They're a pretty inexpensive version, but let's see what we can do. Now, of course, these things get hot. You don't ever want to touch them. Keep my staple tool handy. Sometimes the trickiest part is getting the tool back off of them. Don't look too pretty, do it. We'll clean it up. The good thing about that too is the staples will face down, so no one's going to get cut or anything. Hopefully it holds it together for her. The other piece, fit in there like that. Simply a trial and error kind of thing. Ooh, this one might be good. Let's see if that'll fit. That staple got a little zigzag deal going on. Try to be patient, let that cool a little bit. Don't do that. Use my snips. The new ones aren't hot, but the old ones sure are. Hopefully that holds for a while. We got that all plastic welded back together. That's all we can do. This part's not available, like I said, so we also need a clip, but the one should work. So far, so good. All right, airbox is back in. Pretty sealed up. We need another clip for here, but for now, they're going to try to find a clip in a salvage yard when they get it home. 14 millimeter. Alternator comes out the bottom on this. I'm going to put some push pins in here too, just because that's annoying. Not my car, but it still annoys me. This should all kind of be tucked in here. Anyway, I'm going to take this 14 out the top, and there's a ground wire to it too. It comes out the bottom. You take the compressor off the motor, and then you can get the alternator out. Kind of like a Chrysler, Mitsubishi Chrysler, almost the same. I'm going to keep that bolt with me. I might need to start it from the top with my hand when I put the new one in. I might need to get this started before I can tighten the bottom one, but we'll see. I believe the belt tensioner and everything else happens from the bottom other than that. This is like a plastic push pin bonanza down here. But don't wait. Act now on my $25 extravaganza. I don't know why it made me think of that commercial. You know what I'm talking about? You tell me in your comments if you know what the $25 extravaganza refers to. I can't say what the products are, because then you'll know. I'm gonna get a bunch of these out. I'm not gonna torture you with all 75 or 200 or whatever it is. It's probably more like 15, but still too many to me. You don't need 2 push pins 3 inches apart, do you? Actually, there's a third one. 1, 2, 3. Like, why? I don't understand. Matsumoto and Masami, they're like, you know what? We need a more push pin. I don't know if that's Japanese or Chinese or what. Okay, I've literally got about 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, plus like 3, 4 of them broke. 3 or 4 are missing. So there literally is 20 push pins. And I didn't take them all out. I left some of these in. I just loosened some of them and I bungee corded it out of my way. Because I'm done taking push pins out. Now, should be 3 12s and that compressor comes out of there. And we leave the hoses attached. You don't have to do an evac and recharge. This is an hour and a half labor, a 1.4 I think it was. So, Japanese brands are very stingy on the labor. They just think you need to do it a lot so you get better at it. We're gonna get the belt off of there, and then we can get our 12 universal socket, and it should come right off. Then the alternator lower bolt, I've got the battery disconnected so bad stuff doesn't happen on this one the way they design it. You have to do that. You don't get to do any shortcuts. Gotta take that idler out of there too. You saw that, right? That idler blocks the lower bolt a little bit. No big deal. 14 millimeter like you have stuck on your tensioner now. There's a bolt with a flathead on it and a nut on the other side. Got it. It wasn't easy, but we got it. Got the long one out, got the short one out. I think I needed to take this one out. I think this bracket is part of the compressor. Kind of confusing the way Mitsubishi decided to do this. It's a little tiny thing too, but I'm having a hard time That upper bolt is blocked by the wiring harnesses and stuff, but I think I gotta take this one out anyway. There's a bracket to the bracket, and this goes to the bracket for that bracket. And that's, I wouldn't be surprised if that's on another bracket. What the heck, might as well. At this point, what's stopping you? Oh my goodness. Gotta unplug the electrical connector too, silly. Gotta unbolt something else to get it out. Oh no, there it goes. Just don't be so nice about it. It'll go right out of there. It's a big deal. We already got that out. So I'm hoping I can get that out of there and we can lower it down to get the wires off the back. This should be a 12 under here. That's a quality nut with a washer on it. Get it. Once you get that last connector off, hopefully it fits out. Oh, there it is. Oh, we're stepping up our game to the car quest. I don't know whose those are, but they're not mine. Uh-oh, we're doing a belt too? Okay. Me personally, the factory belt is the best belt the car will ever have on it. So I try to hold off until they look visibly worn or cracking or something, but let's make sure this is correctamundo. Alright, I think we're good to go. Whoa, does this thing... Look how nice the nut it comes with this. That's crazy. That's like an OEM style nut. I'm going to give them theirs. Oh, wait a second. Just a little bit less threads. That's alright. It's got the washer built on. It's new. It's going with it. That's just how I roll. They paid for the nut too, didn't they? Oh, that's cool. It's got a slot in the mount, so I didn't have to take it all the way out. Come on, I want to hear a click. Click it or ticket. Now if I can get this in from the bottom, I won't have to let the car down. I can finish all my underneath stuff. I don't need that socket. I got more where that came from. 12 is tight. Cable. Cover. Yeah, snaps in place, kinda. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Extension's not gonna do it on that. I didn't have to take that bolt out. See where it says nap on there? Belt's already been changed. Yeah. Barely fits on there. What a bear. It's a pretty complicated belt, you know what I'm saying? When the belt's off, the tensioner touches the idler pulley up there, so you can't get the belt on and off without tensioning the tensioner. So there's a gap between the two pulleys to get it on and off. And then putting it on, it doesn't fit anywhere except on this flat pulley last. Otherwise you can't quite get it on. So just a little extra work, that's what I'm saying. I replaced some of the broken and missing push pins, but we don't have enough. It's a new one. We basically ran out. I used like 5 of them, that's all we had. So they're gonna have a few still missing, but this is attached now and stuff. It wasn't before, so let's see if it's charging. All right, my ground's on there, the upper bolt's tight. All I gotta do now, connect the battery and fire it up. Grab the meter, see what we got. Dog it. Alright, feeling pretty good about that. Alternator's charging. I'm gonna mess with this a little bit. And this thing's done. We'll see what we can do next. Look at this bad Johnny. 2024 Mustang 5.0. Ooh, this thing's pretty. Got the right color and everything. 2,400 miles. Can you believe it? I mean, it needs to be vacuumed, but other than that, It's brand new. 2432 miles. That's crazy. This thing's like brand new. I wonder if that's a trip meter, but it doesn't say trip. Yeah, it just says miles. I know it's a 2024, so it's probably accurate. Got the 5-speed, so you know it's performance, and no young kids can steal it. It's just a joke. I know some of them can drive manual. My kids can, but they're not that young. I think it's a new car. I'll go ahead and give it an 8. It's filthy for a car that's got 2,400 miles on it. Come on, man. Tighten up, people. 2437. We're just gonna do an oil change. Ford Mustangs, they don't break down, especially this soon. Two throttle bodies, 2 air filter boxes. You know how it is. That little 5.0 needs some air. Must be for the 17,000 RPM shifts. Look at the size of the valve covers on that thing. My gracious goodness, you'd think that thing was a 9-liter. That's crazy. Anyway, I was in the middle of lifting it up and I said, you know what? I haven't even popped the hood yet. We can't do that. You gotta do oil change prep and stuff. Look at how elaborate those lower control arms are. Ford went hog wild. They said, we went so long without an independent rear suspension, we need to overdo it. Make up for lost time. That's just water. I don't know why these lifts look like they're too high. I don't know, it's kind of strange. Anyway, this thing's got some cooling vent ribs on the transmission. This is serious performance right here. Another thing I noticed too, the customer pulled all the way up on the curb stop and had these things crushed up on the curb stop. If you got a car that's a little sporty, don't pull all the way up on the curb stops. Leave a foot or two so you don't rip off your bumper and stuff. There's my drain plug. Where's my filter at? Uh-oh. I might have to discombobulate some stuff to see it. I didn't look up top. Maybe I should have, huh? See the oil filter, you let me know. I don't know where they put it. I believe the oil filter's over here. It's like the other 5.0s. There's a combination of push pins and 7mm screws. Technically, yeah, those are screws, not bolts. They got screw threads. Don't start complaining on me. Just get to work, will you? Apparently everybody left town because of Labor Day weekend because we're slow. Get you some of that. I gotta go get more tools. I didn't bring a good push pin tool that won't damage these plastic push pins. Alright, a couple more of you guys. Where the rest of you at? Two different kinds of push pins, but luckily they're all one different kind of screws, I guess. So I should be happy about that. How did the engineers decide, you guys know? They go, this kind of push pin for those holes and this kind for the other holes. I don't know. I can't pretend to be that smart. Oh, there's the oil filter. I see it. It's right up there. There it is. It's going to hardly leak any oil right onto this. You see how this is perfectly in line with the oil filter where it's going to drip. It's going to drip here and here. And we'll get oil all over that. So that's cool. I got my special FOMO Co. Mustang oil filter pliers when we get over here. And I got a, it looks like a 15 or a 16. I brought them both just in case. Who knows what they're up to nowadays. This is the first time I've done a 2024 Mustang. I'm impressed with this. Cooling fins on the transmission. It's ready for track duty. If you really want to get good, look how big the brakes are. No fake calipers here, guys. I told you a couple guys got really mad about that. They're real sensitive. I think they ended up in their safe space, so they're okay. Now, let's see here. Had it on the wrong model year, my bad. Homoco, that's what I'm talking about. That's not what we're going to be putting back on it though. I'm going to let that run a bit, and we'll go get the new oil filter. Well, got it. It's hot, by the way. Should have probably put gloves on. I got to try to remember that one of these times. Of course, I did let it drip about 5 minutes while I went and got a filter. I figured it wouldn't drip anymore. I got it all over my hand, and I was screaming like a baby, but you didn't get to see it because the camera wasn't on. As far as you know, it didn't even happen. Alright, now we can drain the oil out of there too. Oh, we got to clean up the mess. I don't want to have any drips. It's a new car, man. There's not even a need to brake clean that stuff off. It just comes right off. It's fine. Oh, that wasn't that tight. I don't know what the torque spec is, but it couldn't have more than 8 pounds. The oil looks pretty nice. 2,500 miles, so first oil change. The customer actually called it a break-in oil change. I do about 1,000 miles. 500 is a little overkill. The manufacturer tells you don't worry about it. They basically already do it. They run the engine on a break-in stand, change the oil, then it's installed in the vehicle afterwards. But who knows how true all that is, but I know one thing. When I do first oil changes on a lot of vehicles, I don't see any indication of break-in greases or any of that stuff that when they build engines they use. The oil's plenty hot too. That's good. It's supposed to do it hot actually. 10 quarts of oily goodness. Way tighter than it was from the factory, but not crazy tight. Okay, now that's all buttoned up. I put the push pins in these first because when you do that, gravity check. When you do the push pins first, you can shimmy this around a little bit if you need to. But if you put the screws in first, you can't move anything around. So they'll hold it up while I line up all the screws and stuff. I got to flap this over that flap. I missed it. Oh, that's terrible. So I'm going to take it back out again and make sure these go over that, above that. So, what are you going to do? Alright, whatever. Kill me, bro. And then people wonder why these are tore up by the fourth oil change. And these are the clips the bolts I gotta put back in, other than all the clips. We'll do them real fast, we'll count them out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, that's 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 screws, and 4 plastic clips. So 19 fasteners to hold this up. Because putting a door in here and maybe a tray under the oil filter, nah, way too much work. The mechanics worry about it. Can you imagine what a lube guy is going to be doing when they pay him 12 bucks an hour to do your oil change at the quick lube place? You think all those bolts are going back in where they go and all? What happens 5 or 6 oil changes in? This thing takes 10 quarts of dinosaur blood, so we're going to do it in 2 trips. I'm going to watch the valve cover, try and see if it backs up in the filler neck. I gotta go get 5 more. Alright, tow trucks are bringing them in left and right out there. This oil change is all done. I'm going to pull it around. I didn't touch that. Where are those handprints from? That's odd. See, there's prints all over it. I didn't do any of that, I promise. I'm gonna clean some of them off though. It's a brand new car, I gotta take care of it. Let me pull this thing around and man, it's been slow today. I apologize, it's gonna be a short video, but we'll do what we can do. All right, those are some cool fender flares, man. Gotta do a wheel alignment. Customer put some parts on there and he says, can you guys do a really quick wheel alignment? He said it pulls to the right since I put a ball joint on it or something like that. I don't know. 179,000 miles. This is a construction vehicle, obviously. We're not even gonna give it a love rating. It's a commercial vehicle. I feel like chopped up tires pretty bad. I'm gonna get on the alignment rack here. We're gonna look underneath and see what he has done, and we'll figure things out from there. I'm a little over to the left. What do you say? Let's go a little over to the right. Not much though, just a few inches. I'm gonna stop before the plate. Oh, there it is. I'm pretty happy with that. What do you think? Let's get this thing up in the air. Oil change due at 182. It's at 179. You gotta write that mileage down too. 179, 741. Yeah, these tires are pretty chopped up. Wouldn't be surprised if it's got a shifted belt and slightly in a tire or something like that, but just playing my hunches. The back tires look pretty good. And it looks like it's possibly towed out because I got the wheel pretty straight. This tire is way better than the right one. That also can cause an issue, but it's all speculation until we take some measurements. Aha! New hub bearing, new outer tie rod end. All right, let's just do an alignment. Well, that's why it pulls to the right. The steering wheel is off to the right. So I put the steering wheel straight. Now it's negative 0.8 and positive 0.3 roughly. So we're just going to set the toe and let this thing go. Should be good. I'm going to toe out the right front a little bit. We can take nudge. That was easy. About a half turn. And again, I'll show you guys. I mentioned it last week, but someone was really concerned about me not loosening the clamp. I still didn't loosen the clamp, and it does not roll the boot. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm not harping on it because my feelings are hurt. I'm harping on it because I want people to know better. I have pretty thick skin, believe it or not. I am, however, amazed at people who think they're smart who aren't. That part amazes me more than my feelings getting hurt. This one, we want to toe in. Try to loosen my nuts a little more. Probably a couple turns. The threads feel like they got dirt in them. Let's get ourselves a little cushion. Now, I'm going to bring this tire in by threading the tie rod into the tie rod end. Uh-oh. My guess was close, but not close enough. Let's do this. The other side is plus 0.12. That's about what I'm shooting for right here. So now I can tighten this jam nut. Now you can also do this with the boot if you're concerned. It boots like that because the tie rod end is going into the rack slightly, I guess. Yeah. Boom. They said, can you get this alignment done today? I said, that's going to get me over 3 hours for the day. You bet I can. Actually, I think 5 hours today. Not too bad. Considering how slow it's been, I only worked on 3 cars and I played with the project truck a little while. 5 hours isn't the end of the world. I'm headed for a 25-hour a week. What's the big deal? Again, I think it's funny, but it is like just part of the business. Some days it's slow, some days it's so busy you can't get your bearings, you can't stop to breathe. So you got to take it as it comes and make the best of each day no matter what. This one's done. I just got to go down the road with it, verify my steering wheel straight, gather all my tools from the alignment rack. I don't know why it's not pronounced the way it's spelled. I don't know what this printout was from. Oh man, look at that, an El Camino printout. I must have printed 2 of them and left one on the machine. We saw him at Old Town Saturday night. I tried to bring the truck and it leaked Freon, so the AC stopped working, so I didn't go. With the truck, I went and got the Tundra. It was fun. I saw the 72 El Camino in the Cruze. That's what I was getting to. Keep in mind, on these alignments, you should always check tire pressure. And this one, the dash display shows all the tire pressures are good, so I don't have to get the tire pressure gauge out. Tried to take my truck to Old Town Saturday. I was going to film a few guys, but this fitting loosened up, and I'm wondering if, well, the motor should go this way, so I'm wondering if vibration is causing that issue. I might have to put a little bit of something around this fitting to get it to stay where it's at right now. I tightened it back up and recharged it. The smoke was coming out from under the hood, refrigerant purging out of the system. Turned around and brought it home. But anyway, I didn't bring my keys today. I want to mess my vehicle speed sensor apparently isn't working because my speedometer still doesn't work, even though the rest of the gauges work perfect now. So in any event, I'm going to play with this a little while, and we are getting ready to close it down. Real slow day today. I apologize if the video is going to be kind of short for Tuesday. But this is the day after Labor Day, so maybe people have hangovers and stuff or ate too many ribs. But I appreciate you watching anyway. I hope you got something from it. Don't forget on your way out, torque the like button, subscribe if you haven't yet, and leave a comment down below. Also, Amazon store has been a little slow this month. So if you need something, check it out. I added quite a few new items over the weekend. I try to add something every weekend, so it's always worth taking a look in there if you're interested in some tools you might see in my videos. Helps the channel out a lot. So I appreciate you guys, and hope I see you in the next video, because you're awesome.